What's going on, guys? Nathan Barna here. Today's message is pretty simple. Are you creating the reality that you want to live? And a lot of this, it's very easy, especially in the time that we're living in now, where we have access to so much different information. Some expert says that, you should avoid saturated fat, and somebody that's equally qualified says that, no, you should eat slabs of butter on everything. And, some guy says that you should only eat meat, and some other girl says that you should be a vegan. And there's all of this conflicting information, and it can be challenging to decipher through it all and figure out, what it is that you need to follow, and what do you ultimately believe, especially now in this COVID pandemic or plandemic, depending on how you view it. Is it a real threat? Is it as bad as they say they are? Is what they say on the news correct? And should we be as scared as they say that we should be about this thing? And the point of this is not to say that anybody is right or wrong, but to hopefully give you a frame of reference to start to think about these things for yourself. And one of the first things that I have to ask myself, and that when I'm working with clients, what I ask them is, are you having the experience that you want to have? And it seems simple, but most of us don't realize that we are creating exactly what we want, or in a lot of cases, exactly what we need in this moment. If you feel frustrated, or you feel angry, or you feel scared, or you feel happy or sad, or depressed or anxious, or any number of these things, it's very easy for us to, especially when it comes to negative emotions, to blame other people and victimize ourselves for why we feel the way that we feel. But the first step is realizing that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing, is what you chose. And usually it's not a conscious choice. Usually it's not something that you necessarily want to be experiencing. But a lot of times, through the circumstances, and even through your soul's path, and some things that we don't really have the time to get into right now, but a lot of the things that we think are out of our control are things that we created, or things that we co-created in our reality. And so if you're not having the experiences that you want to be having, and the reality that you're living isn't the reality that you want, you have to look at what stories you're telling yourself, what perspectives are you telling yourself, what are your fundamental beliefs about life and about how the world works, because these are the things that are ultimately shaping your thoughts, which are shaping your words, which are shaping your actions, which is putting energy out into the world that is coming back to you in a form that you either want or don't want. So when you start to look at these things, if you're constantly telling yourself that I'm not good enough, or I'm too fat, or this person doesn't like me, usually that's exactly what you're going to get back, and that's the experience that you have. And then on a deeper level, when it comes to deciphering the differences on, what is it that I should believe in to get the experience that I want to have. And usually, because the potentiality of our reality is almost, limitless, we can choose to have the thoughts and to have the perspectives and to have the beliefs that we want to have that are going to help us create the reality that we want to create. And that's the main point that I'm trying to get at behind this video here, is that, you can get real caught up in what this expert says or what this person says without actually taking the time to consider what is providing the best experience for you. When it comes to diet, it's a huge one. And it's, again, a lot of us fall into the trap that this person says that we need to eat this many calories a day with this macronutrient profile, and I'm doing that, but I feel like shit. Then automatically you have that direct feedback that maybe what you're believing in isn't conducive to the reality that you want to create for yourself. And therefore, that's where we have to start to look at these things that a lot of us get caught into, a lot of this dogma, whether it's religion or whether it's, the scientific materialism, which to me is just another religion that people get attached to. And again, that's a long discussion, but it can become a closed belief system, which a belief system by definition is closed. It can become a belief system that people get trapped into. And if that belief system is creating what you want and you're getting the experiences that you want and you're having the reality that you want, and I guess first and foremost, you have to define what that is for you. Most of us would agree that being happy and feeling love and experiencing love and joy and pleasure in our lives is a valuable thing, and we seek to have those experiences. So again, if what you're believing in is not setting you up to have the experiences and to have the joy, the pleasure, the love, the happiness that you want to be having, then you have to look at those beliefs. And that's where, when I'm working on myself and when I'm working through these challenges with myself, a lot of times I don't necessarily know the right answer. I don't know if what this scientist said is actually true. I don't know if what this dietitian said is actually true. But what I do know is that if I believe in that and I follow through with that, if it's not giving me the experience that I want to have, that I say I want for myself, then I know that even though what that person is saying might not be fundamentally wrong, it might not be the best belief system for me in creating what I want to create. And I hope you guys are following with this and seeing the implications of this way of going about life and thinking about things, because it pertains to anything. So if you want to create a certain experience for yourself, you have to figure out what beliefs and what things you're going to get behind and implement in your life that are going to give you the experience that you want to have. If, for me personally, believing that there is, that I'm just one small piece of something much larger, something infinite, that, there is not necessarily a higher power, but that we are part of that higher power that we think, that a lot of us think is separate from us, that God and me are essentially one and the same, and that, God is everything. These are the things, whether that's fundamentally wrong or right, people can debate on for days and still get nowhere. But by having that belief, if I feel a greater sense of love and connection with myself and with everybody around me, and it is bringing me more of the things that I say I want to have in my life, then I'm sure most would agree that that would be a good thing to believe in. And the same is true with anything. I can give countless examples of this, but the key is to find those things in your life. Find the things that might be holding you back. Look at the areas of your life where you're not having the experience that you want to have. Things that are creating pain in your life is usually the first place to look at. And then once you look at those things, look at what beliefs that you have around those things. And then decide, which takes a lot of courage for people to get beyond their ego that likes to identify with ideas, to potentially change the way that you think about things and what you fundamentally believe in. But realizing that by changing your beliefs, you can change your experience of life. And even though your circumstances may not have changed, but just by changing the way that you view those circumstances and how you go about perceiving those circumstances can make all the difference in the world. So again, I won't drag this video on with giving countless examples, but I hope you get the basic premise behind this, because I think it's very important for people to realize that we can choose. You can literally choose the thoughts that you have. You can choose what you believe in, and therefore you can choose your actions, and you can choose your words, and you can choose what you put out in the world. And you can make those thoughts and beliefs and those words and those actions conducive to what it is you say that you want. And it doesn't matter if nobody else believes in the same things, because in reality, it doesn't matter. So many of these things that we, view as a scientific fact, if we look back in history, so many of those things have gotten disproven or have had to be refined or rethought of because new information came out. And again, going even deeper than that, it's the way that we even think as far as the scientific community goes is based on the paradigm that we're in. Right now the paradigm is that things are made up of atoms, and that, these atoms are what create our physical world. And again, that's what we accept as scientific fact, but we may come to find, and we're already starting to find, that these atoms are essentially 99.99% empty space. And so what we think of as physical isn't really even physical. And what we think of as something solid that we can grab onto, we think that it's made out of something, when in reality, at least this is the new science coming out, is that things are first formed within a field, and then they are formed within the physical. In other words, the form, the energy and information, the field of energy and information is what creates the physical matter, not the other way around. Again, we don't need to get deeper into that, but just so you can start to see the implications of not accepting whatever is the, modus operandi of the time, and starting to think for yourself and question things and see if, is that really what I should believe in? Is that really what's true? Is what that doctor says on TV about how dangerous COVID is that actually true? You know, and is by believing that, am I going to create the experience that I want to have and that I want to live by? So I hope you can, play around with this and see what areas in your life may warrant a new set of lens and potentially a new set of beliefs, and ultimately hoping that you can create an open belief system that allows you to filter beliefs in and out to, again, create what you want to create in your life. I hope this helps. I'll talk to you next time.